Al, thanks for the time. Appreciate it. I met you briefly. You met a lot of people on one of the gatherings out there. Where was it? Maysville? The VFW hall, wherever it was.
Yes.
It was busy, and you guys were living the old days and stuff. And I just thought the world of it.
Oh, we were living the days now, and what was great
But
for me.
you were holding court.
But see, that's my thing. I hold court with the best of them, and the one thing I can do, I can chill out.
Yeah.
You might find me over in the corner somewhere,
I would say you're tactical about your replies to
Yes.
everybody.
Yes.
Listen, I talked to David, and I've been meaning to do this story. I'm investigative. I go after all kinds of bad stuff in the world, and I see David as this bright light. That's out there. He could be down. He could be a victim. He's not. He's out there trying to do good. But I wanted to know more about how that happened, and he immediately went to the dark days. We talked.
Okay.
About it. He doesn't do that. And he said he was in trouble.
Right.
He mentioned though you more than any other person saving him. Has he ever told you that?
He's told me that in his own way, because he really doesn't have to. But it was ironic how we met, because at the time I was a deacon in the church.
Right.
And I would make my rounds to various hospitals, was King Daughters, Belfort, the hospitals in Portsmouth. And to this day, if you ask Dave, like you're asking me, what took me into that room that he was in when he was in the hospital? But I went into his room, we talked, we had prayer. And ever since then, we've been friends. And I know it was one of his relatives. I don't know who it was. And maybe his relatives might know more about it than I do. But it was the fact that I took time. That was the key. I took time to visit someone who I think and thought that needed to hear something good and positive, because that's what I've always been about.
So you didn't know he was there?
I did not know he was there.
Do you believe that was a nudge from God to go in there?
It's no question it was a nudge from God. Because, for someone not to be expecting me, and here I am in his room, talking, carrying on conversation. And, he wasn't in the greatest shape then, because he just had a tough situation.
But he was a baseball player, extraordinary baseball player in high school when this happened. And here you are, you had already achieved, and by that point retired from the game at a high level. Here you are, a minister, and something drew you to that room.
And you know what? I've thought about this time and time again, and I've asked Dave on occasions. I said, man, can you really remember how I got into your room? He said, Al, I really don't know. And it was just God leading me to his room. Someone who needed to hear something positive.
So,
and especially from a major leaguer.
But it wasn't just positive. David says that you single-handedly saved his life.
That's deep. That's deep. And I'm just glad my daughter is not listening to this. Because if she would hear that, she would break down and start crying. Because she's a very sensitive person.
I see some misting in your eyes, Al.
It could happen. It could happen if I allow it. But I'm not going to, because it's been several years back.
Well,
and that's what I've always been about, is helping people.
Well, I know that because every time I talk about Al, it isn't just the baseball player that finds you.
Yeah,
right.
It's the man.
It's the man. And like people in my family would say, the Pirates have missed the boat. Big time. I should have been in their organization, because they don't have anyone in their organization that's capable of doing the things that I can do. And that's going out into the world, talking to all types of people. I have no issue with people, regardless of race, regardless of what church they go to, as long as they believe that Jesus Christ died upon the cross for us, that's the most important thing to me. And that's where I've always been. And thank God that I was raised by the right parents that has carried on until this day.
So what was it about that moment, that miraculous moment, when you were in that hospital room for the first time and you're seeing a young man who's paralyzed and you figure out he slid into home plate? That's been, what is that, 35 years ago now?
At least, I mean, it's hard to believe it's been that long.
But you stayed with it. Why?
That's how all of them. You know, once I start something, I'm going to finish it. You know, I'm not going to run from it. And that's just the way I am. You know, once you become attached to something, you know.
But attached, Al, is one thing. Here's a man who it was questionable whether he would make it.
Right.
And you jumped in. And you didn't just jump in, you walked with him through life.
Right.
Was it something you saw, something you felt, or just the way you are? What happened?
It's a combination of the two. It was something that I felt, and I know for sure it was me. You know, because I have been next to people who I knew wouldn't be around here long. And you go in there and you try to build them up. Everything's going to be all right.
So here you are 35 years later. David again is going to be an honorary captain for the Cincinnati Reds in a game against the Dodgers. And you're going to deliver the first pitch. We don't know. I mean, what's that feel like?
It feels great, and I would say this, like I was telling Felisa on the way up. I said,
That's your daughter.
I asked my daughter. I told her, I said, you know, the key to me throwing out this first pitch is because of Dave. If it wasn't for Dave, I would not be throwing out the first pitch tonight, because he felt that Al Oliver should be involved in this. And I don't know how many former players, non-Reds, who have had the opportunity to throw out the first pitch. And believe me, I don't want no one laughing at me when I throw this ball out here. Only thing that I want to do is put some arc on it so we can get there.
You want to get to home plate.
I want to get to home plate.
All right. So let me do a little bit of writing in my head, because that's what I do. 35 years ago, you visited a young man who really was on he said if he had the ability to use his hand, he would have ended it. And along you come, providing a hero right at his bedside. And you see him through, and you're a man of God to boot. And here we are, all these years later, and you're still helping by throwing that pitch that he can't deliver.
Interesting. And you know what? To be honest with you, he might do better than I can when you really get down to it. You know, but
I'm not worried about you
right,
at all.
but
I watched in the day. I'm pretty sure if you tap, you still got it.
Right. I still have half of it.
You know what it is you're from Portsmouth, and you came up the right way, and you're strong. You're going to tap that, and you're strong all the way through. What you did for this man, sir, you not only saved his life, you ushered him through life. You were his beacon.
You know what we're talking about is very interesting. I think this is a story that should be told.
Here I am.
Yeah, because a lot of people have no clue what I'm really all about. You know, they can look on the back of a bubblegum card and say, well, he did this and that. But as a person, a lot of people really don't know who I really am, what makes me tick. I'm kind of laid back guy. You know, I'm quiet, but when I see a situation that needs to be addressed, I will address it.
Did you know at the time how important this would be to the life of that man?
I had no idea at all.
Do you know now?
I know now.
What's that feel like to you?
It feels great, to have helped somebody, because this is a journey for all of us. And along those journeys, we'll have bumps in the road. And it just depends on the bumps that we run into, how we get over those humps and bumps. And Dave has shown me, who has not had too many bumps. I've had some, which most of us have. But looking at him, every time I see him, to me it's amazing. He gets around more and better than I do. And that's the thing that I really enjoy about him. But
so what you see is a man who's overcome his obstacles at a higher level. I tell him all the time, I don't know what I would do. You look and you say, what would that mean to me? And here's a man who you can look him in the eye and forget he's dealing with some of the most incredible challenges that a human being can face.
You're right.
And how can you not be inspired by it?
If you're not inspired by it, they need to put you into a psychiatric home. I mean, it's just that simple, as far as I'm concerned, because you got a problem.
I don't want you anywhere near a newsroom, because I believe... Here's the thing, Ed. I want you to hear this, because in life, it gets by. He credits you more than any single person with getting him through the darkest days.
That's strong. And I'll be honest with you, before we started this interview, I had no idea where we were going. I know where we're going now, and I know where we're at. And to your credit, I'm glad that you're bringing this out, as far as I'm concerned, and not being selfish.
So people define you as that great ball player, and you were great. You were great. Like you achieved at the highest level. But I'm interested just as much in the man who saved another man's life.
Right.
In a man who walked into the room for no other reason than he felt something.
Right. That's what it was. I felt it. And I didn't have to go turn it around. I didn't have to go into that room. But the man upstairs said, Al, you need to go in there.
That man upstairs today is watching a celebration of this life and yours.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And that's a good thing. That is a real good thing, for someone to say that I was that major part of his life. I know probably there's been other people along the way that I've helped them through their lives, but this is real. This is real. It's been said, and it's true. I'm just glad that I had the opportunity to have been able to help save his life. I've always been an uplifter. You won't hear me saying something negative about nobody. My daughter Felicia said, Dad, you don't talk about nobody.
You were about perfect for the role, what I'm talking about. You were perfect. Man upstairs knew that.
Yes, he did. He had to.
And so, when we celebrate Al Oliver, I think we're celebrating a whole lot more than a man who achieved as a young man on a baseball field.
No doubt in my mind. And that's something that I have always hoped that people would open their eyes to really find out what I was all about. I think if they would have been surprised.
Al, how proud are you of where David is today?
Oh, I'm very proud of where he's at. It's amazing. His attitude is what I really enjoy. I like to be around positive people because we all can be around negative people, talking about people and gossiping and carrying on. And even people who go to church every Sunday, they come out and become hypocritical. You know, I don't like hypocrites. You know, I like people who are for real. And I can honestly say that I am for real. I don't do anything that I don't intend on doing. But some people will do it just for the publicity.
You haven't had any publicity on this.
No.
This is the first time you're talking about it.
Hey, you know what? I'm part of history.
Yes, you are. But you're part of history that's meaningful.
Meaningful. It is. It's very meaningful to me.
So you're going to be out there throwing that first pitch. And then the guy you helped save is going to be handing over a scorecard as the honorary captain.
That's going to be neat.
Does it get any better than that?
No. No, it does not get any better. And I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to be a part of it. And I know when Dave said, well, Al, he calls me about once a week and says, well, Al, are you up to about 95 as far as the speed limit? I said, Dave, let me tell you something. You tell them that when I get out there, turn the radar off because it won't register. It's not going to register. If I get it there, I'll be satisfied.
I have faith you're going to get it there.
I appreciate that.
And if you don't, I'll say you did.
Thank you
How
very
about
much.
that?
I appreciate that.
No pressure then.
No pressure. The pressure's off.
Just so you know, I'm not a sportscaster. I chose news. I do it on a high level at the investigative. I chose to do this story because it's meaningful.
Right.
And I look at you as a human being. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful you were there. I really am.
I appreciate that.
And the last part is that are you still a practicing minister?
Oh, yeah.
So tonight, when you say your prayers, because I know you do that, what are you going to say to God? Can I ask?
Well, I'm going to first of all thank him for giving me this opportunity to be able to come see the Reds and the Dodgers and to see Dave being honored, handle those cards to the umpires. You know, everybody doesn't have that opportunity. And only God knows that he is in my corner with me throwing out the first pitch. So I think it's going to be easier for Dave to hand the umpires the lineup cards than for me to go halfway between the mound and home plate. But I think his job might be easier than mine. But
you know what I'm going to do?
What's that?
I'm going to pray.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to pray.
I want everybody to pray. I want everybody.
I am so honored. I really am. I'm honored.
It was a pleasure.
No, it was all my honor.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And we'll get this right, I promise you. We'll tell this story.
If you are in charge, I know you're going to do it right.
Well, don't put that kind of pressure. All of a sudden, I'm going to miss a play.
Put all the pressure on.
We're going to get it, I promise you. And,
Okay.
And I'm telling you one thing. I wanted to talk to you more than anything after I talked to him. Sure, because he really did go deep on us.
Oh, you talked to him already? That's good.
I feel like you're going to blow some people's minds.
People are getting sticker shock when they head to the grocery store.
Point blank, how can that be?
I was so shocked something like this could fall through the cracks.
Thanks for helping us pull off the surprise.
They're having fun.
It is all of those things, wrapped in one.
Getting that vibe of it. Lots of sunshine.
Sounds tremendous.
Are we encouraged to sing along?
Yes.
Are you tired?
That's all I got left.